Raider Radio. Of course, Uncle Mosh, they said that they couldn't hear us because I don't think I had the button hit in the right spot again. So this is now twice in a row, Uncle Mosh, since we've been trying this new setup, that I've goobered up the audio as we've begun on the YouTube feed here. So let me make sure that I got everything working. How about first I introduce you, and let's see if they can hear you. So welcome to Raiders Fan Radio, Uncle Mosh.
Check, 1, 2, testing 1, 2. You out there? All right, I'm here.
You're here. Let's see what the chat room says. No audio. Well, Herman Munster says there is. Let's see. Do we have audio or not there, chat room? I apologize, guys. So let me know if you can hear us. This is crazy, man.
In the chat room, EDP called it Mosh Pit.
The Mosh Pit. This is like 2 weeks in a row. There we go. Joe Budiso says we're good to go, so I appreciate that, Joe. All right, so 2 weeks in a row. It's because we're trying to do so many new things here, Uncle Mosh. Trying to get the studio set up that I've had to redo a few things. So, but anyways, we're good to go now. So appreciate you guys joining us here for another what we hope to be fantastic episode of Raiders Fan Radio, episode number 104. Uncle Mosh, 104 episodes.
Isn't that crazy?
Of Raiders Fan Radio. It is crazy, and man. Uncle Mosh, we got a lot to be thankful for.
We do.
It's Thanksgiving week, right?
It's crazy. Man, just think. It seemed like it was just the other day we were going, man, when's the season going to start? And then it was like, okay, we got to get through preseason. And now it's like we're halfway through. Man.
I know.
I know, right?
More than halfway through even.
We're gonna be talking about the draft here in a minute.
That's right. Absolutely. So, before we get going, a couple things we want to do is, first and foremost, thank you to the chat room for jumping in. I can't scroll up, but Herman Munster's in there, Bobby Wasabi, Chevy Raider, Sam Acosta, Ron, Joe Budiso, Tudus, EDP, a lot of guys there, and I appreciate you joining in and joining us here for Raiders Fan RFR Live, Uncle Mosh. RFR Live. And so before we get going, though, thank you to you guys. And Uncle Mosh has a little promo to read that about our friends at the New Jersey chapter of the Black Hole are hosting the Black Hole Tailgate this weekend in Baltimore, and also in conjunction with a few of the other booster clubs that are friends of the show. So take it away, Uncle Mosh.
I don't think I'm going to read it. I think I'm just going to talk about it. So the Black Hole, New Jersey, is hosting a tailgate in Baltimore. And that's really cool. So what people don't know is that Black Hole tailgates are always free.
Yes.
And they're any fan can come by. It's hosted by the New Jersey Black Hole, and it'll be in Lot J. Food and drinks are free. I'm going to go ahead and say that one more time because that's my favorite kind of food and drinks. Free food and drinks.
Free food and drinks.
And you know what's really cool is they take donations, okay? And, surprisingly enough, and I've done a bunch of these promos as well as you have, Virginia Tailgate are all getting together to do a party, and it's a huge thing, and they're selling tickets for that.
Yes.
You can go to DCMRaiders.com. That's for DCMetroRaiders.com. So it's DCMRaiders.com. Get your tickets for their tailgate, and that's a weekend event. That's like, kind of like what they did in England. That there's stuff going on all the time. And you don't want to miss out on that. So a lot of fun stuff going to be going on right near the nation's capital. That's pretty rocking, man.
Absolutely good stuff, and those are great folks. So if you get there and you join in, tell them Raiders Fan Radio said hi. And of course, Chuck, the president of the New Jersey chapter of the Black Hole, also hosts a show on the Murphs Fan Cave Network.
Right.
We call that the Fan Club Blitz, and they speak with other Raiders booster clubs around the country. And in fact, I think they interviewed the three other clubs there, DC Metro and Hampton Roads in Northern Virginia. And so you'll hear that on this week's Fan Club Blitz. But we wanted to get the promotion out there, being that it's now Wednesday and the game is coming up this weekend. So
and they got a great show, man. They went to the Kansas City Chiefs bar.
Yes, that was funny.
That was just. They have a blast. They have a lot of fun.
It was my favorite part of that is when Chuck looks. You could just hear him. You can hear him looking around.
Yeah.
You just know he's looking around. You know what I'm saying? And he just goes, "Eek, it's a bunch of ketchup and mustard in here." It's like McDonald's went all wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, fantastic. So yeah, those guys are great. and appreciate the Fan Club Blitz and appreciate the New Jersey chapter of the Black Hole, man. Those guys are awesome, and those other fan clubs as well. So definitely go support what they're doing. And I hope you guys have fun down there with them at the tailgate in Baltimore. Uncle Mosh, so I mentioned the Murphs Fan Cave podcast network. You know, on on that network, you can get 3 shows.
Right.
You get this show, you get the audio version of Mondays with Mikey and Murph, and then you get the Fan Club Blitz. And all of those shows can be found on Apple Podcasts. So you go to your iDevice. Your
iDevice will work.
iDevice. You go to your iDevice, and what color is that little icon?
Purple. It's purple.
Click the purple icon there that says Apple Podcast and search Murph's Fan Cave. MURFS Fan Cave.
It's hard to miss.
And it's hard to miss, and you will find our show. If you're an Android user, you can go to the Google Play Store and you can find us in Murph's Fan Cave on Google Play Podcasts, or we have our own app. So you can go to the store, type in Murph's Fan Cave, MURFS Fan Cave, and then you can download the Murph's Fan Cave app and never miss one of those shows. Or you can do what a lot of people are doing right now, Kamash, and that is what?
Go to the YouTubes.
Go to the YouTubes,
man, and subscribe. Hit the subscribe button. We're rocking it. We're getting lots of folks, man. And the more subscribers we get, the more chat we get, the more fans. And that's what we're all about. It's Raiders Fan Radio. The more we get in, we're up to 1,150 or something like that.
1,150 people tune in to watch us. 2
guys with faces meant for radio. You know, it's really cool.
Love it.
We've been laughing about this because we used to kid and joke and say, yeah, we have tens of listeners. We have over 1,000 subscribers, man.
We have viewers now.
Viewers.
We have 1,100 viewers.
Watch us do stupid stuff.
It's crazy.
Wait till the off season comes. I've been practicing some magic tricks that have to do with fire. That have to do with fire.
Absolutely, because we're going to keep this thing rolling, man. We're going to do Raiders Fan Radio as long as you'll watch us. We'll keep doing it. So, all right, let's go to the contact ad and have Uncle Mosh tell us how you can get a hold of us.
Deep breath. All right, boys and girls, pay attention. You got your old Uncle Mosh here with an update. That's right. I got some stuff for you. Take out a piece of paper, a pencil, a pen. Heck, use your pocket knife and carve the info into your dashboard as you're driving down the highway. First off, you need to like us on our fan page on Facebook. That's right. Go to Facebook at Raiders Fan Radio Podcast. Don't forget about the Twitter. You know your old Uncle Mosh, he twits now. That's right. Go to at Raiders Fan Radio. Also, don't forget the Instagram at Raiders Fan Radio. Or what about our website? That's right, RaidersFanRadio.com. Heck, if you want to, you can even email us, show at RaidersFanRadio.com, or call us on the Raiders Fan Radio hotline, 909-345-3346. That's 909-345-3346. Don't forget Murph's Fan Cave on the YouTube, where you can get all the show links like the Fan Club Blitz with Splatterhead and Fitz. Find all our stuff on podcast providers like Stitcher, iTunes, and Google Play. All right, did I hit the time limit? Good.
Uncle Mosh, I got a hat.
You got a hat?
I got a hat.
Okay, so one time when
oh no, hold on, let me get your shot over here on you. Okay, go ahead. Let me sit back for this one.
Okay, so I raised Josh. Okay, Murph. And one time we were all living together. This is a really bad story.
Oh no.
So when let me just preface this story by telling you I had a girlfriend. She was hot, man. She was so smoking
Monica
hot.
Murillo?
Yes. We didn't want to say her name.
Oh, I'm sorry.
But anyway.
I mean, that was
not like she listens to the show. Anyway, we're driving, right?
I hope that's not someone's mom in the chat room. Or
his mom and dad.
From San Jose.
Murph is about, I don't know, you must have been about 5. And he's like, we're driving, right? We're through the going up Highway 1, right? And we're just taking that beautiful drive, and his dad just got a new Mustang, and his mom and his dad are in the front seat, and I'm in the back, and I'm like in the back with Monica, and it's a fairly new relationship. And Josh goes, I want to sit next to Monica. And I'm like, anything to shut him up, right? So he sits next to Monica, and his dad's really getting into it, man. Your dad's just gunning this car. He could drive, man. And we're going around the corners, and everybody's like, woo, woo. And all of a sudden, Josh looks over and goes, Uncle Mark, I'm going to be. And he turns to my girlfriend, and she goes, what's the matter, honey? And he goes, bleh. And he just pukes in this girl's lap. Just barfs in this girl's lap. So anytime he says to me, Uncle Mark, I know there's an issue coming. So,
oh my gosh,
Uncle Mark, I got a new hat. I'm like, what are you gonna do? Puke in it? What? I'll save that other story for another day.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Hey, thanks for throwing up on my prom date.
Hey, you're welcome. You're welcome. That's what I'm here for. Yeah.
I can't wait till your kids go to prom.
Yeah.
I will puke on their dates in a minute.
Throw up on your girlfriend, and I appreciate you wiping my culo for all those years too, as well.
That's the next story I got.
Not to mention, I was 26 when it happened. No, I'm kidding. I was a little baby. But anyways, all right. Uncle Mosh was my first babysitter.
Yeah, I was.
Yeah, you were. All right. So I got a hat. Okay. So this hat that I'm wearing right now, it's a Bridgestone golf hat. I don't know if you can see it there. Bridgestone golf Raider hat, and I have two of them. And so I have the one that I wear, and I've been wearing mine for a long time. Well, I have another one here, little Bridgestone golf hat. So we're gonna give this thing away. We did the Carhartt hats that Uncle Mosh is modeling there. He's got his silver and black UK pin on there, and it's the Carhartt hat. And we gave one of those away with the tagline contest that actually birthed a freaking T-shirt empire, which has been awesome. But Emiliano won the tagline contest. Well, we're going to do another kind of contest to give this thing away. So I'm not sure what we're going to do yet. But anyways, look for that coming up soon. All right.
We're probably going to do something fun like Raiders, since we're getting into the.
So I'm going to get to our a couple things here that we just want to, on our show, we don't give props, right? We don't give shout outs. We give respect.
We give respect.
And so I got two on my list that I want to give respect to. Actually, three, maybe four. But anyway, we'll start with this. We're going to start with the listeners. And look, I've probably told you guys this more than you want to hear, but I'm going to tell you again anyways. There's 1,100 of you that subscribe to us on YouTube and like to watch us there. There are multiple thousands of you that listen to us in 50 states and over 80 countries around the globe.
That's crazy,
that pay attention to this little podcast. And I am so incredibly thankful that you all are willing to spend your time to get on here and to listen to us chuckleheads talk about the Oakland Raiders. It's completely flattering to me. I'm so thankful that that you all are willing to do it. And so I'm just so much thanks to our listeners.
It's overwhelming at times.
It kind of is. It kind of is. Yeah. So thank you to you all for doing that. So Mosh, you got anything on that?
No, it's just true though. It is. I mean, I share with people sometimes. Hey, yeah, my nephew runs a podcast and I help him out, and they go, really? And I'll say, yeah, and they'll pull up and they go like, you have 1,000 subscribers, and I'm like, yeah, is that good? It's kind of overwhelming, man. It's pretty cool.
It's very cool. It's very cool, and so it's just been a fun expression of our fandom, and the fact that you all are willing to participate. I'm just again thankful to you.
We're making so many cool friends too.
Oh my God!
All these people we would have never met.
Yes, and and when you hear people talk about Raider Nation as family, and we have some callers today that even brought that up. It's the freaking truth, man.
It is.
It's the freaking truth. You know what I mean? And getting to meet, some of our listeners at games, you know what I mean? Getting to meet people face to face and just, having these joint projects and ventures and stuff. It's just been awesome.
Thursday, I flew out of state. I flew to a conference in Arizona, and I happened to be on a plane, and there was a man and a woman and their child sitting right in front of me, right? I'm in row 35 of 35.
Ooh, fun.
In the back, yeah, right next to the bathroom. The only good thing was I had the aisle seat. So this man and this woman and this baby sat down in front of me, and I'm thinking, oh, no, this kid's going to cry. It's the only thing worse is if the toilet backed up, Well, the kid was amazing. The airplane started up and rolled down, and that baby went right to sleep. I mean, she was an absolute angel. So as we're leaving the airplane, I hear them talking to the people in front of them, because everybody stands in the aisles.
Right.
As soon as the plane lands, they go, wait till we get to the, So I'm waiting to get off, and we're at the Phoenix airport, and I'm waiting to get off, and I hear them saying, no, we're not on business. We're on vacation. We're going to see a professional football game. And I go, uh-oh. So I immediately pull out one of my Raiders fan radio cards, right?
Yeah.
And I waited for them to finish talking, and as we're walking down the aisle, I go, hey, so you're Raiders fans, huh? And they go, how did you know? And I'm like thinking to myself, okay, I just put two and two together. Why would you be flying into Phoenix?
Right.
If they would have been Phoenix fans, they would have said, oh, we're Cardinals fans or whatever.
Right.
But they go, yeah, we're Raiders fans. And so we started talking about the podcast. We started talking about the Raiders.
Cool.
And she knew just as much as he did. It was so cool. And they had this beautiful 2-year-old little girl who was just chatting away, and everything. And I'm like, man, this is great. This is great. This is all. Yeah. It was so. I don't know if they're subscribing. I don't know if they're listening. I didn't even ask their names. But it was just like, later on, I passed them in the terminal as they were going in the restroom, and I was going by, and I go, go Raiders. And I heard her yell back, go Raiders,
Oh, that's cool.
It was
man.
really cool.
That's
it was really cool.
Right on. Yeah, and there's been so many stories similar to that we've encountered, whether virtually, online, or meeting people in person. Heck, King Louis, we found out, lives down the road. I mean, it's been great. So anyway, so I can't gush enough about you guys and tell you thank you so much for supporting our show. All right, next up, Uncle Mosh, this isn't on your rundown, it's on mine because I want to tell you thank you.
Well, thank you.
I appreciate you helping me out with Raiders Fan Radio. You've been an amazing addition to the show. For those of you who listened to us for a long time, I started this podcast with my cousin, your other nephew, Sonny, and we did it together for a very long time. Sonny took an undefined hiatus from the show, and I didn't know what to do with Raiders Fan Radio. I didn't know what direction to go in. And before I ever even asked you about it, you said, I got it. Let's do it. Here's when I can do it. Let's put it together. Let's do it. And we've done it. And Uncle Mosh, it's been a lot of fun, man. I've had a great time in doing this with you. And I think you've been just an incredible addition to the show. And I can't thank you enough for not only doing it because I think people like to listen to you, but you kind of saved the day. You know what I mean? You kind of, because I was thinking like, all right, we have met all these other cool people. And I thought, well, who else would I want to co-host a show with? Who's got the capability? Who got whatever? But I didn't have to worry about it because my Uncle Mosh stepped in and was like, hey, I got it.
I took you to raise. That's what I do.
Well, it's just been awesome. So thank you to you very, very, very much.
Back at you, man. It's been a blast. It's given you and I the opportunity to get out here and have fun and do what we do.
Absolutely.
Be silly. We just got to be silly and let other people join our silliness.
Absolutely. There you go. All right, Uncle Mosh. So next up, I have someone else that I want to be thankful for. In terms of the Raiders, so here we go, Raider Nation. So we're going to start talking about some team-specific stuff for you here. So in terms of the Raiders, it's got to start and stop with Al, right, to me. Like it's, I'm thankful to Al, and this is going to be funny, this name that I'm going to throw out there to you. But there are a handful of people that Al Davis, I think, shares company with.
Okay. I can give you a couple. Go ahead.
All right. George Lucas,
got it.
Vince McMahon.
100%.
Stan Lee. Oprah Winfrey.
Got it.
With me?
Yeah.
And because I was starting to think, I tried like
George Steinbrenner.
People that, yes.
Yeah.
People that have taken something that already kind of existed. So football, Al Davis didn't invent football. Al Davis didn't invent a football league, although he had a lot to do with the AFL. But what he did was he took this thing and then he crafted it into this wonderful image, this mystique. He built this entire fan base out of something. It birthed out of his head. Now, whether you're a Star Wars fan or not, that's what George Lucas did with the Star Wars franchise.
Absolutely.
That's what Vince McMahon has done with wrestling. It's what Stan Lee did with comics, and it's what Oprah has done with her freaking fan base.
Sure.
I mean, you want to talk about loyal fans.
Yeah.
Like there is no, I like to think we are as Raider Nation, Oprah's fans are, it's craziness. Right. So what my point is that to have Al do what he did for us as fans, this whole thing is he not only did it all, but then he allowed us, there was something about it that allowed us to be part of it. And that's something that is completely unique. And that's what all these people that I brought, it's almost like you feel like you have ownership in it. When you're a wrestling fan, you feel like you have ownership in WWE with Vince. Does that make sense?
No, it's 100%.
And so that's why I'm just incredibly thankful that Al had that spark of creativity to build and create this thing that is now Raider Nation.
You're exactly right. And the idea that they can take an existing product that's already rocking and rolling and then mold it and shape it to fit them as an integral part, almost to say that a necessary part. You know, when Oprah went off the air on a regular basis, television didn't shut down, but she just took it in another way. Still has now she has her own network. You know? When Vince,
and she didn't invent the talk show.
She didn't.
Daytime talk shows were in existence.
Oh,
and then she took it and went.
Hello, I grew up watching Merv Griffin and Mike Douglas. You know, my mother made me watch them. You know, but my point is when you get into sports entertainment, wrestling, Vince didn't invent that, but he brought it to the next level. And I think that's what these people that we're talking about take stuff to the next level. You know, Al took fans owning the fandom to the next level, you know, encouraging that stuff. Whenever you watch a WWE event, all those posters and things that you see out in the house, a lot of that are people don't realize, but a lot of that's provided by WWE. They hand a lot of that stuff out. Yeah. Okay. So that, you know, that's promoted. The whole promotion of the black hole. I don't know all the origins of it, but it had to be something that people bought into and said, let's go be part of this. And, you know, and the folks at the Coliseum had to welcome it and open it, you know, open themselves up to letting those people come in and do that. Come on, you know, it wouldn't surprise me if tailgating to the next level was brought at that next level in Oakland. You know, because now everybody tailgates, but nobody tailgates like we do.
No,
you know?
Not at all. Absolutely not. That's a great point, Mosh. And I think that's kind of what, you know, whatever has grown out of the fandom has been allowed to exist because the Raiders have allowed it to exist. And Al was the genesis of all of that because he wanted you and all of this is all geared towards winning because he wanted you, when you were driving into the stadium, wanted you to start getting nervous. He wanted you to see the fans and be nervous. He wanted you to think that the facility wasn't up to par, that it was a scary place to play, that the field was under bad conditions. All the things that you could come up with in your head, that he could project this imagery to get inside the head, the psyche of the opposing player. That's what all this is built for.
Yep.
And so, like, the fact that he did all that at the time that he did, it's just, again, I'm thankful for Al. So that said, Mosh, there's a hip hop group called Dem Raider Boys that have been around a long time, and they do awesome stuff. You know, we're fans of fandom. We love the way that other Raiders fans put their own creativity into and output. So whether that's doing a podcast like what we do, or it's writing music, or it's drawing pictures, or whatever, creating memes, whatever you do with your fan, we love that stuff. And these guys are one of the best. Okay, there's 4Dub. There's a handful of
our buddy down in San Jose.
Oh my gosh, Z.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. There are a handful of them that they make great music, excellent production quality, whatnot. All right. Anyways, so Dem Raider Boys have a song called "Thank You, Al." So I got this. I reached out to them and asked them if they would be cool if we would play it, and they graciously said, "Yeah, go for it." So I want to promote their website. It's rn4 the number 4l online.com. That's rn4l online, which we all know means Raider Nation for life online.com. So support their website. But anyways, they gave me the blessing to play the song. So I was just going to play a piece of it, but it's so freaking good. I'm just going to play it. I'm going to let it roll. So enjoy this, guys. So in the celebration of thanks and to give thanks and to thank you to Al Davis, we're going to play the song here. Thank you, Al.
And in Oakland, it was a memorable day for the entire Raiders organization and fans as they honored Al Davis.
And I want to say one thing to the fans and the great players who wore the silver and the black in the past all over the country. And I want to pay tribute to my partner, Ed McGaw, who died this winter. Again, you were magnificent, you dominated. And I love all of you, you know that. Thank you very much. Just win, baby.
For everything that you gave and you gave for us, that's the reason why it's Raider and all of us. Ashes to ashes, never would your name build us, cause you're the promise to this game that we love so much. For everything that you gave and you done for us, that's the reason why it's Raider and all of us. Ashes to ashes, never would your name build us, cause you're the promise to this game that we love so much.
Al Davis built this character, this culture.
Every time you walk by, I just waited my turn to hear what you had to say about the Raider Nation. Now them days are gone, and them days look long. Thanks for hooking up the NFL and bringing us along. Thanks for thinking out the box and putting other races on. Al D, you did it right, and thanks for holding down the throne. These are words from Don't Even, and I have to let you know that I'm speaking from my heart. Now I can finally let you go. Al Davis, you're a beast, and the nation loves you so. Not only are you a legend, you're an icon, bro. Silver and black is the colors that you rep like a pro. We gon' carry on your legacy, just to let you know there's not a hall big enough that can hold all your fame. Plus you always stay committed, now it's time to go and get it. Rest the Raider and in peace. Al Davis, you's a beast, thanks for everything you done. Now it's time to get some sleep. Generals win wars and politicians make peace. Just win, baby, win and stay committed to say the least. Plus he'd rather be feared than respected. What a G. You can sleep when you die. Say goodbye to the guy you don't digest, you dominate, and you gotta stay consistent when it comes to football and getting dirty in the trenches. Real Raiders, stay relentless and persistent in this game. Got them shaking, got them cringing when we mention Al's name. For everything that you gave and you done for us.
Isn't that great?
The reason why it's
Got them
Raider
cringing
and all
when you
of
mention
us.
Al's name.
So cool.
Never would your name build us, cause you're the promise to this game that we love so much. For everything that you gave and you done for us, that's the reason why it's Raider and all of us. Ashes to ashes, never would your name build us, cause you're the promise to this game that we love so much.
It's all about Al. It's all about the silver and black.
Al Davis, the Godfather, did it his way. Frank Sinatra, you don't adjust, you just dominate. Raider in peace, October 8, 2011. The man, the myth, the legend of a visionary. A true diehard, from the cradle to the cemetery. How it all began, from the AFL to the NFL to the autumn wind. The young coaching genius who created some of Los Angeles and Oakland's meanest players to ever play the game. Without Mr. Davis, the Raider Nation will never be the same. It's more than the season of a game, it's the aftermath. The flags are half stab, tribute to the businessman and the badass behind the shield. You will commit to excellence to return to glory, yet instead my words can tell the story of the baddest. Silver and black maverick. Once a Raider, always a Raider for life. Win, lose, or tie, we don't die, we multiply. Patch over my eye, what's more still? It's in my blood, one team, one nation, one love, one love. Mr. Al Davis, the worldwide Raider Nation's greatest. Coach, leader, owner, and godfather. To the nation of millions of die-hard sons and daughters. Silver and black, moment of silence.
Everything that you gave and you done for us, that's the reason why it's Raider and all of us. Ashes to ashes, never would your name build us, cause you're the promise to this game that we love so much. For everything that you gave and you done for us, that's the reason why it's Raider and all of us. Ashes to ashes, never would your name build us, cause you're the promise to this game that we love so much.
Raider in peace, Godfather Al Davis. We love you, 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 we love you.
You ain't dead, you just passed on. As long as the nation is alive, you is alive. Rest in peace, rest in Raider Al Davis.
Raider in peace, Al legacy.
Raider in peace. Isn't that cool?
Just win, baby.
For everything that you gave and you done for us, that's the reason why it's Raider and all of us. Ashes to ashes, never would your name build us, cause you're the promise to this game that we love so much. For everything that you gave and you done for us, that's the reason why it's Raider and all of us. Ashes to ashes, never would your name build us, cause you're the promise to this game that we love so much. For everything that you gave and you done for us, that's the reason why it's Raider and all of us. Ashes to ashes, never would your name build us, cause you're the promise to this game that we love so much. For everything that you gave and you done for us, that's the reason why it's Raider and all of us. Ashes to ashes, never would your name build us, cause you're the promise to this game that we love so much.
All right, there we go. There's Dem Raider Boys. Support what these guys are doing. It's rn4lonline.com, and you can find their stuff on YouTube and anywhere else. Man, as the kids would say, Uncle Mosh, I think that's a banger. Isn't that great, man?
It just
so
gave
good.
me chills on my chills.
Chills on your chills.
And I'm wearing my Al glasses today.
You do.
I got these are my Al glasses. I found them. They got bling on them. You know,
You just need the chain.
I'm getting one.
You got to get the
get
chain.
one. Yeah,
you got to get the chain.
I need a chain. I got to order me one on the YouTubes or something. Oh, you don't order on the YouTubes, do you?
No. But anyway, so thank you to those guys for letting us play that song. Thank you for giving us the blessing to do that, and definitely go check them out, support what they're doing. All right, Uncle Mosh. The other thing, last thing I'm thankful for here before we move on to the next segment, which we're still in the intro part of this show. The last thing I'm thankful for, Uncle Mosh, is a win. I'm thankful the Raiders have won their second game this season. And don't you know, our quarterback, our leader, was fired up before the game here in Arizona.
Hey, nothing left to be said. We already talked about everything we got to do. You know your assignment, so do it with everything you got. Whatever you got taught this week, do it with all you got. And we'll see what happens at the end of the day. Because I promise you, you're going to get everything Forrest got every time I take the field. Give me what you got. Let's go. Win on three. 1, 2, 3. Win.
Oh, man. Old DC was fired up. Don't you love it?
He was motivated.
That was awesome. So the game in Arizona was fantastic. What a great finish. Great drive there. Marcel Aitman coming up huge with 2 catches there to help keep the drive alive. And so the Raiders win on the Carlson field goal there, Uncle Mosh. And after the game, you know they were fired up.
Thanks for coming out, supporting. Heck of a game today. God is good. Go Raiders.
This is how we do it, baby. We coming, baby. We coming. I promise you. Hey, man, Raider Nation takeover, man. We came to Arizona. We saw, we conquered. Yes, sir. Hey, what I told you, it's one of them days. Raider Nation takeover, baby. Let's go. That's game, baby. That's game.
Finally got us one, man. Feels great. Feels great.
We got the win. Excited. We still got to get some more, though.
We got us one, man. It wasn't pretty, but we won it, man. That kicker, man, we got him one.
Hey, got a dub, baby. Raider Nation.
Needed it, baby. Perseverance, resilience, fight through to the end, baby. That's what the Raider way is. Come on, baby. The nation. Come on, let's get it.
Oh, isn't that great? Isn't that great? Don't you anybody that had any commentary on the team hasn't bought, they've given up, or they're not buying in anymore, or they're deflated, or BS.
Yeah,
man.
no, you're not going to hear that. Sam Acosta on the chat said it's Wednesday with Moshi and Murph. You're not going to hear that negative stuff on Wednesday with Moshi
leave
and Murph.
Mikey alone. I don't think I'm Mikey. But yeah, man, just great stuff there, and it carried on, Uncle Mosh. It carried on into the locker room with Coach Gruden.
Hey, feeling great, man. Got our second one on the road. We got to go to Baltimore next year. Keep it rolling. Let's go. Raider Nation, baby. Let's go.
Offensive line, defense made plays, man. Everybody made plays, man. That was a team win. I'm just thankful, man.
That's for you, Oakland, California.
We do not what? That's what the Raiders are all about. All right? This organization is built on a commitment to what? Excellence. And God dang it, we're going to commit ourselves to excellence right down the stretch. I'm so proud of all you guys. You learn a lot about going home after that 49er game with your head in your hands. But what you learned is you're the most mentally tough team in football. And that's going to go a long way. It's going to serve us well. Man, enjoy the wins. They're hard to get in this league. Let's come back to work. Let's get ready for Thanksgiving in Baltimore. God bless y'all, man.
Family on 3. 1, 2, 3.
How about the passion, Mosh?
Jeez.
Don't you love it, man?
I do
so
love
good.
it. I love it. Man, that's hard to beat. It's hard
to beat. It's good stuff there from Coach Gruden and from the rest of the guys there, of course. And of course, everybody's always happy when you win. But man, I'm telling you, that's encouraging for the long-term outlook of our football team for sure. All right, so before we hit the audio break here, Mosh, real quick, I want to thank everybody in the chat room for joining us here on Raiders Fan Radio. Phantom King, Raider Homer, Aaron Q-Dog Raider, Chevy Raider, Raider Critique, Zeke, Charles Adams, Bobby Wasabi, Raymond, Adam Hill, a bunch of people in there, and I appreciate you guys for joining us. And Uncle Mosh, they're asking about having Mikey on this show or having you sit in with Mondays with Mikey.
I love Mikey. Are you kidding? I would love that.
So the wish granted. We were actually planning on recording something today, but Mikey had family come in not unexpectedly, but on short notice anyways. So we didn't get it recorded, but Mikey's going to start a new series on his network where he's going to do kind of like an Inside the Raider Nation type thing where he interviews Raider Nation, and we're going to be the first ones. So
That's
Uncle
awesome.
Mosh and I are going to do an interview with Mikey on his channel, On Air Nation, and so look for that coming up very soon. So yes, the three of us will all be doing something
and
together.
we'll have a link to that off of our stuff, or they can, if and when they follow Mikey, and they should, because he puts out some great products.
Yes.
They can get to that, and they'll see it. That's coming up real quick.
Absolutely.
Perfect.
Hey, this is Pete Koch, former Los Angeles Raiders. Yeah, back in the old days, baby. And you're listening to Murf and Uncle Mosh, who happens to have the same hair as me. Check it out, Raiders Fan Radio.
Hey, yes, that was a God dang it by Coach Gruden there. That's right. I'm telling you.
Q-Dog called that a Murphism.
Gee willikers. All right, so now that we're done with the intro, 40 minutes into this episode.
We're only 20 minutes behind.
We're only 20
That's
minutes.
not bad.
Not bad. And 10 minutes of that was us trying to figure out audio stuff, so we're actually in pretty good shape. All right, so here it is, episode number 104 of Raiders Fan Radio. So we are going to celebrate the number 104. We are then going to get to a very famous anniversary that happened this past week, and then we are going to dive straight into the CFANS Mailbag, where we listen to your voicemails and comment and have a nice discussion with those of you members of Raider Nation. So, episode number 104, Uncle Mosh. So, we always take a number that's somehow linked to the Raiders, whether that be a jersey number or a yardage total or whatnot. Sometimes it's a year.
Sure.
Various different ways that we like to link the name and number of our episode back to something significant with the Raiders. So this week, Uncle Mosh, we have three things. Man, we've been jamming the show already. I got to stop, take a breath here. All right. So this week we got three things. So first off, episode number 104, we want to celebrate the yardage total of 104. And there are two plays in Raider history that have equaled 104 yards. The longest plays in the entirety of the Raiders' existence have two of them were at 104. So the first one was IRA Matthews, who ran a kickback in 1979 against the Chargers, I believe. And so Ira Matthews was a special teamer, right?
Performer.
Special team, but an electrifying special teamer. And,
Absolutely.
So anyway, so Ira ran a kickback for 104 yards, and there's not a live call of Ira running the kickback, but even better, I found some audio of Ira Matthews on 97 ZOK, the Steve Shannon Show in Rockford, Illinois. So shout out to those guys. Yes, an interview with Ira. And so it's Thanksgiving. We've just got done talking about all the things we're thankful for. And Ira talks about being thankful to Mr. Davis.
Wow. Come on, Ira.
I was fortunate enough to get drafted by the Oakland Raiders. Mr. L. Davis understood football. It's three phases. Defense, offense, special team. And the great Ray Guy just got inducted into the Hall of Fame. First punter ever. We have Joy Blanda, first kicker ever in the Hall of Fame. I don't think I'm going to be in the Hall of Fame, but I am in the Rockford Public School District 205 Hall of Fame. And,
you still hold a Raider record?
Yeah, I still hold a Raider record, and it's great to have been drafted by the Raiders, and I appreciate every day how much they continue to do in my life, and it changed my life and my family's life forever.
Isn't that the best? Wow. That's my favorite part about Al Davis, man. It's just the way that, he literally changed lives. I mean, there's a reason that everybody that ever talks about everybody from Randy Hansen to Ira Matthews all refer to him as
Mr. Davis.
That's it. They don't, occasionally Coach Davis, but other than that, it's Mr. Davis. It's Mr. Davis. It's just so cool. So good stuff there from Ira Matthews. And so Uncle Mosh, so next up, in terms of the number 104, there's a player that is one of the all-time greatest. He is the epitome of the Oakland Raiders.
Oh, absolutely.
And I don't think we talk about him enough. I don't know why we don't talk about Assassin more. It's certainly not, I don't know, I guess because there's so many Raider legends that it's hard to get to them all. But I feel like we don't talk about Jack enough. But Jack in 1972 returned a fumble back for a touchdown, and he recovered the ball in the end zone and ran it back 104 yards to tie Ira. Well, actually, Jack's was first. Ira's tied Jack. And Ira's returned it as actually a Monday Night Football record that still stands. But anyways, that Jack Tatum return, that fumble return for touchdown for 104 yards in 1972, man, just an awesome play. We're going to listen to the audio here. When you watch it, just picture this in your mind. It's a pitch out on like the 10-yard line.
Right.
And the running back has the ball clank off of his hands. Atkinson comes up and blasts the running back.
Nice.
The ball goes trickling into the end zone. That's where Tatum picks it up and then takes off down the sideline. So let's go and hear it live. And, you can't beat the dulcet tones of John Facenda, right? And NFL film. So let's hear about that here on the call. This is against the Green Bay Packers at Green Bay in 1972.
In Green Bay, the Raiders challenged their second eventual division champion in a row. Behind crushing blocking by George Beeler, Bob Brown, Jim Otto, Art Shell, and Gene Upshaw, Marv Hubbard bulldozed for 125 yards in search of victory and a 1,000-yard rushing goal. The Packers led early, but Coach John Madden's young defense was maturing under fire and allowed Green Bay to succeed on only one third-down situation.
Wow.
All right, here we go. This is so cool.
Jack Tatum's recovery and record 104-yard return exemplified the alert Raider defense, which held the Packers scoreless for the last 43 minutes of an inspired 2014 victory, in which Oakland completely dominated play.
I could hear John Facenda say, Oakland, I'm not going to try to imitate his voice, completely dominated play. It's amazing. He's so freaking good, man. That's like, I mean, you can't, can you beat that, Mosh? You can't beat that.
That's hard to come.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty good stuff there. So anyways, appreciate John Facenda there. Appreciate Jack Tatum on that, and and Ira Matthews there for 104 yards to equal our show total here. All right, but Mosh, I got one more 104 for you.
Come on with it. Come on.
All right, the last 104 I have comes courtesy of also Hall of Fame Raiders secondary member Charles Woodson.
One of your man crushes.
My man, absolutely. Number 24, man, all day. One of my all-time favorite Raiders by far. His first touchdown in the NFL came on October 4th.
No way.
So 104. Right?
Oh,
nice. So his first, and it was against the Arizona Cardinals, who we just played. Right? So let's go ahead and let's hear that call. This is from 1998. Jake Plummer staring down a wide receiver, and freaking Woodson is staring down Jake Plummer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's not even watching the ball. He's watching Plummer and reads this thing from a mile away.
Here's Plummer. Into the flat, picked off, and here we go the other direction. This will be the Heisman Trophy winner, Charles Woodson. His second interception in as many weeks, his first touchdown in the National Football League.
He's looking, he's throwing. He's not looking at Adrian Morrell. He's looking at Jake Plummer, and Plummer gives him the ball. And now you can just sort of play act and do your best Deion Sanders. Watch Plummer. Look at the eyes. He's thinking Morrell. And Charles Woodson, not off on man coverage, drops the coverage and comes out of nowhere.
Wow.
Isn't that awesome? Isn't that awesome, man? We missed you, Chuck. Come back, man. Come back.
Hey, everybody. This is Johnny Spencer from the punk rock band Stringer, and you're listening to Raiders Fan Radio with Murf and Uncle Mosh. Go Raiders, baby.
How about the hashtag going on in the chat room right now, Uncle Mosh, is cut the Nelsons.
Yeah, I saw that.
I love that.
I saw that.
That's great.
Cut Craig T. Nelson.
Yeah, let's see. Who came up with that? Was that
Q-Dog?
Was it Q? No, Raider Critique, I think, was the first one. I'm looking.
Oh, yeah.
No, Chevy Raider, it looks like. Chevy Raider. Props, dude. That is awesome. Great job. Cut the Nelsons, man. Yes. Get rid of them both. Yes. There's no love for either one of those guys right now. All right, Uncle Mosh. So, a big week for the Raiders in terms of celebrating history in that, we talk a lot about the past of the Raiders, and that's one of the things that we do here in Raiders Fan Radio is that we love the history. We love the mystique of the Raiders, and we've talked a lot about it already. And one of the things early on in the Raiders' existence that kind of kicked off the mystique of the Raiders was getting a game that had a name, right? The Raiders are famous for their games with names.
We name everything though.
We name everything.
We got Ghost to the Post, and I mean we have the best nicknames in
absolutely
in all of football.
In all of football,
yeah,
absolutely.
In all sports, probably.
Absolutely. So Ghost to the Post, there's the Sea of Hands, there's the Immaculate Deception, right? The Holy Roller, the non-fumble, there's, the Tuck Rule. I mean, there's a lot of games that we have that are named. Now we have the index card game even, right? Right? So we have a bunch. But really the first big one was the Heidi Bowl. So the Heidi Bowl was played on November 17th, 1968. So this was the 50-year, did I do the math right?
Yep.
The 50-year anniversary of the Heidi Bowl. And so for those of you that don't know, the Heidi Bowl was a game that was played between AFL rivals, the Jets of New York, and, of course, our Oakland Raiders. And at 7 p.m., NBC, who was currently who was at the time televising the game, was under strict orders to cut away its story. But don't you know, Uncle Mosh, that, you know what? Oh, here it is right here. Don't you know, Uncle Mosh, we have a segment on our show called The Black Hole of the Internet.
Right. Where
sometimes we'll dig into a subject even deeper than what the surface level of the story is. And so because I found something pretty fun on that, let's go ahead and let me hit the button.
Murph's Black Hole. Here we go.
Murph's Black Hole of the Internet.
Journey that begins where everything ends.
Okay, so for those that missed the game, now the people on the West Coast still got to see the game, and of course the people in attendance got to see the game, obviously. But outside of that, no one else got to see the game because the game was being managed from a TV station on the East Coast in New York.
Right, and remember, this is prior to the internet, so we had to wait until the 11 o'clock news or 10 o'clock news, depending on where you're at, to find out who won the game.
Yes, absolutely.
So, yeah. There was sports talk radio hadn't been invented yet.
Exactly.
I mean, we weren't the global society that we are now. You had to sit through Heidi. Come on.
All right, so little known fact, Uncle Mosh, we can blame now the New York Rangers.
What?
Yes, for the game getting cut away and for the Raiders' victory over the Jets not being televised. So there is an unnamed vice president of NBC Sports, okay? This was the guy that called the shot on the transition to Heidi at 7 p.m. This was his job.
Wow.
The movie was being put on by Timex, who at the time bought the rights, the advertising rights during the movie. So it was an exclusive thing, right?
Sure.
And they paid $700,000 in 1968 dollars to have this movie shown. So being that Timex gave all this money to NBC, it was like, this is a hard chop. We are going to Heidi at 7 o'clock. But this guy at least had the wherewithal, the guy that called the shot, to stay at home and watch the game to gauge when he could leave his house because he had New York Rangers tickets. So back then, it took about an hour to play a half of football. So at 6 p.m., he looks at the TV, sees that the game is in halftime, and says, okay, I can leave. I can now go to my Rangers game. So he left to go to the Rangers game. He gets to the Rangers game. It's starting at 7 o'clock. And as he goes into the Rangers game, everybody, all the New York fans, are on their transistor radios listening to the radio broadcast of the Raiders Jets that's still being played.
Oh.
So this guy, the one guy that could make the call to say, don't switch over to Heidi, was at a New York Rangers game and couldn't make the call. So if it wasn't for that guy having tickets to the New York Rangers game, he would have still been on staff long enough to be able to make the call. So there we go.
That's why we hate the Rangers.
That's why we hate the Rangers.
That's why all good Raiders fans hate the Rangers.
That's right. And that's especially, and we hate the damn Jets still too.
To this
day, huh? That stinking Joe Namath and his Fu Manchu and his guarantees and all that garbage. But anyways, there's something fun for you guys for the Heidi game. Little known fact there, and yeah, there you go. It's kind of info you get from us here at Raiders Fan Radio. Oh wait, let's listen to the NFL films, and then we'll get to the CFANS Mailbag.
Yeah, please.
It was the 11th week of the season, and the New York Jets, under the command of Lord Fu Manchu Joe Namath, were in the Oakland Coliseum. It was a battle between the two most explosive teams in professional football. Perfect execution like this tight end screen to Billy Cannon for a touchdown was the standard. An injury to All-Pro cornerback Kent McLuhan placed rookie George Atkinson against professional football's leading receiver Don Maynard. Atkinson got an instant education. The lead changed back and forth 6 times before the score was finally tied at 29-all. Then the Jets' Jim Turner kicked a 26-yard field goal, and the Jets had the lead with 1 minute 5 seconds left. New York kicked off to rookie Charlie Smith, who couldn't make it out of bounds.
All right, I'm going to skip ahead a little bit here, Mosh.
Left.
Please do.
The thing's like freaking 20 minutes long. I'll just skip ahead with it.
Once again, that historic moment and the 9.6 speed that made it possible. And still 42 seconds left. Mike Eischeid kicked off. Earl Christie bobbled it. Then his own man, number 30, ran into him, and he fumbled. Preston Reitelhuber pounced on the loose ball in the end zone, and the Oakland Coliseum became an enormous secret love-in called the Heidi Ball.
All right, Uncle Mosh, there you go. The secret love-in known as the Heidi Bowl. You can find that online, guys. It's really long, and we're starting to run long on the show, so I'd cut it short there. But definitely check it out. And some talk in there about John Facenda. And, you can't go wrong with old NFL films. You can't go wrong with John Facenda, and especially when he's doing stuff on the Raiders. It is it's glorious. It is absolutely glorious and great stuff. So, anyway, so there we go. 50-year anniversary, Match the Heidi Bowl. Do you remember the Heidi Bowl? How old were you? You were little.
I was waiting for my 10th birthday.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, so you were little. Yeah.
And
was there a talk even? Because you were in San Jose then.
Yeah, I mean, there was a little bit. The older folks talked about it, and I mean, I remember my older siblings were mentioning it. My oldest brother was talking about it, but it was it was crazy. It was nuts. It was nuts. And it wasn't until later I got into my teens that I started really getting into football and really got the reference to it, and I remember it happening and everything. And I don't remember if I sat through Heidi or not. I probably I don't think so.
Did Grandma Jenny make you watch that thing?
I might have had a little crush on her, but that's
Jennifer Edwards, who played Heidi, daughter of famous director Blake Edwards.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Did you know that?
No, I didn't. Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah, well, I could have been Black Hole the Internet too. I learned that today when I was Wikipediaing this thing.
I was cracking up on the chat though, because whenever we mention, the progress of the chat is so much fun.
Yeah, because now you keep up with the chat.
Well,
you're trying to.
I'm gonna have to put it away because I
keep getting distracted.
I keep going. But I was cracking up, but they were talking about Wilson, and the
Tom Hanks incident,
the beef, and
well, don't get into the details.
I can't go into that because we said we would stop at 3 hours tonight. So we can't do that. But that will come soon. That will come soon. Right. It happens. It happens.
We have a go for main engine start.
Gosh, I'm not sure what happened, but there it goes back up. Yeah,
up?
Yeah, I think it just dropped for a second there. All right, here we go. So, Uncle Mosh, we're going to get into the CFANS Mailbag. This is where you call us at 909-345-3346. That's 909-345-3346. And you can leave us a voicemail. And if we play your voicemail 3 times on the show, then you get referred to as a made man. And we have not only a new made man tonight for voicemails, but we also have a new made man for emails. And you can email the show at hey, this is going to get confusing, show@RaidersFanRadio.com. So I almost said you can email the show at show.
You said it anyway.
Yeah, I said it anyway. So just email. So show, SHOW, at RaidersFanRadio.com. You can email us anytime, and we will read your emails on the air. And Uncle Mosh, today we have a lot of great messages. So let's go ahead and jump into the Sea of Fans.
Fading, looking. He's under the gun. He's tied. He throws. It is.
All right, Murph. So first up, we got a buddy over there in the UK, Paul Edgerton. And Paul sent us a really nice email. He sends a lot of emails, and this one just he hits on a lot of stuff. And I'll read it here real quick. Like it says, looking forward to the show, guys. I can't stress how happy I am at being 2-8. As bad as it sounds, the win on Sunday was a huge relief. You know what? You're right, Paul. When the Cardinals went up 21-20, I felt as low as a rattlesnake's wedding. But the guys showed real spirit, and DC got the job done. I don't care that the Cardinals are a poor team. You have to do what's necessary on the day, and we got the W. Amen. He also says, I was happy to see DC and Coach Gruden exchanging views as it keeps the passion and a will to win high, as long as it's done in the right way and put it to bed afterwards. Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. We're going to talk about that a little bit later.
Yep.
He also says, and this is something that you and I have talked about and agree wholeheartedly. I'd like to add my best wishes and thoughts to everyone on the West Coast that's been affected by the wildfires. The reports have been heartbreaking. It's a real hell on earth, and I hope that things can improve soon. Amen, Paul. We totally agree with you and send our thoughts and prayers out to all those as well. Murph, the Hansen tapes are award-winning, my friend. Truly astonishing stuff. Anybody that hasn't checked them out yet really needs to do so, and I agree. The Hansen tapes are phenomenal. He finishes his email with, I'm clinging on to happiness until 5 minutes before kickoff in Baltimore. So have a great Thanksgiving, Raider Nation. Raider for life, Paul Egerton, and he's out of Shropshire, UK.
Awesome.
So
good job, Paul. Thank you so much for that email. Uncle Mosh, do you know where Shropshire, UK is?
I do not know. I don't know that I've ever been there.
It would be, let's see if you follow me on this. It would be the Mississippi of England. Not in terms of like,
geographically, it's in the south central quadrant.
Yes, because it is just west of Birmingham.
Oh,
see what I did there?
Oh, just like our Mississippi.
It's like,
is west of
yeah.
Birmingham.
So it's just west of Birmingham. So Birmingham, England, and it's just west of that.
Fantastic.
So, yeah, so pretty cool there. So thank you to Paul for reaching out to us and hitting us with an email. And, yeah, good stuff. So, again, you can email us anytime, show@RaidersFanRadio.com. That and the phone line, 909-345-3346, are the two absolute surefire ways to get a hold of us. We try to respond to all of your messages. I try to respond, Mosh, to YouTube comments and Facebook messages, but there are so many different ways to get a hold of us because of all the social media and all the platforms we're on that it's really tough for me to get to all of them. So just know this, though. If you call us and leave us a voicemail or if you email us, those absolute slam dunk get to us every single time. All right, so next up, we're going to go to Made Man. We're going to go to Ron in Ohio.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's Ron. Just want to start off saying thanks for the show. Really appreciate all the hard work you guys put into this, and echo what Emiliano said last week, man. It's nice to be in touch with actual other fans and be able to talk to them. So want to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving, and thank you guys for what you do. This week I thought it was pretty cool to see a little bit of fire out of Carr, and maybe it's just confirmation bias, but I thought he was a little bit more fiery with his receivers when they messed up too this week. So that could be a good thing. The other thing was, I think slipping down the draft board a little bit, besides the fact it's a win, and that's great, is kind of nice. I think if we had that number one pick, I'm almost worried that Gruden might be more apt to take a quarterback there. To my knowledge, he's never had pick of his litter with a quarterback. So I think if we have that number one pick, we might be at like DEFCON 2 for taking a quarterback, just because he's never had that opportunity and may never have it again. And I guess the counter argument to that is this is the closest he's had to having his pick of the litter with a quarterback, because he got to pick the team that he wanted to coach with in some respects. But I'd like to see Carr stick around and turn this thing around. And then I kind of had a question here. I think Gruden picked for need rather than best player available all last draft. So if that is the case, if he's going to stick drafting for need or in free agency, what's your opinion on our number one single biggest position of need, either in the draft or free agency? So, all right, have a good Thanksgiving, everybody, and thanks for all you do. Have a good day, guys. Bye.
All right, appreciate Ron calling in there. And first, Uncle Mosh, I forgot to mention, when we go through all these voicemails, you now are going to award someone.
Oh, yeah. The Sizzler.
That's right. So we're going to take one. Uncle Mosh is going to pick his favorite voicemail and award the Sizzler. Okay, so Ron had the question there at the end, Uncle Mosh. Great call, Ron, as always. What position of need do I think, or we think, that the Raiders should address? And, you know, I've been harping on this position for a long, long time, and I'm not going to stop until we find a viable solution for it. And that is linebacker, and more specifically inside linebacker. And when we look at the lack of attention that our general manager or the team as a whole has paid to that position, it's kind of surprising to me. You know, once upon a time when Ken Norton Jr. was our defensive coordinator, he was an inside linebacker. Reggie McKenzie was an inside linebacker. Our coach, Jack Del Rio, was an inside linebacker. We had all these inside linebackers and all of these guys in the office, but none of them playing. And I don't know why they felt that they could just address it in lower rounds and then coach guys up. I'm not so sure, but at the end of the day, we really haven't had effective linebacker play in the inside, not only by one player or even by unit, since like Kirk Morrison, man. Like, it's been a long time. So, and I know we tried with Rolando and that didn't work out for a handful of different reasons, but we just really, especially during Reggie's tenure, we just haven't addressed it. So, and we look, frankly, at what he's done. He hasn't selected a linebacker in the first or second round of the NFL draft ever, and only ventured once to get close, and that was in the third round when he picked C.O. Moore. He stuck to this philosophy then this last year, drafted Azeem Victor in the 6th round, but I don't see Azeem Victor running around for the Raiders.
Nope.
Playing inside. So I think it's just time. I think if Roquan Smith is still on the board when the Raiders draft this year, where we went with Colton Miller, I think if Roquan is on the board still, maybe then there's an opportunity to pick him there. I thought in the Conley draft, with all the linebackers that were around then, they would have addressed it then. But anyways, Ron, that's a long answer to your question. But the bottom line is this. The Raiders have just not addressed linebacker with any effectiveness over Reggie McKenzie's tenure as our general manager. What do you think, Mosh?
I agree. It is, and that's the easy, cheap way to get out of that conversation. But it is true. We really need it. We don't have that guy that's going to be there day in, day out. That's bought into the system. That's going to be there for us when we need
a leader.
him. A leader.
A field general, right? Which is what a middle linebacker is, right?
It's got to be that guy. It's got to be that Butkus.
It's
got to be that,
Well, and I know the days of that type of player, that's changed in today's NFL a little bit, but still, you know what I mean? And especially when you when you look at those Bears, you mentioned Dick Butkus. He often gives credit to Ed Obradovich, who was his big defensive tackle that played in front of him, and his point was always Ed would just set him up and I'd go knock him down. But we don't have that guy to go knock him down.
That's right.
We're going to have these guys, our young guys up the middle right now with the way that Hurst and Hall are playing, and we hadn't even gotten Vanderdoes back and Jelly Ellis and whatnot. We're going to be legit and have some depth in the middle of the field. We're gonna need that field general to come and knock him down,
exactly.
man. I just think that we're gonna need that kind of a player. So, great question, Ron. That's my son's phone going off over there. That I'm gonna go grab that. Pick us up here, Uncle.
You keep going. I got it.
All right. Thanks, Uncle Mosh. My son has a chicken alarm on his phone to let him know that he's got to go downstairs and plug it in, and he left it up here, and so now there's a chicken alarm going off here in the fan cave. Oh my gosh! All right, so next up, let's go to another email. We're gonna hear from our buddy Kev in Scotland. Let's see. Well, since Uncle Mosh is over there turning off the chicken alarm, I'll go ahead and read the email from Kev in Scotland. All right, so Kev says, "Hey Murf and Mosh, feels good, doesn't it? Another win and hard-fought, gutsy win, no less. Just wanted to reach out and give some thoughts on the game and where we are as a team and organization." Thank you, Uncle Mosh, for turning off the chicken alarm over there.
I got to tell you,
go ahead.
I turned that off in true Uncle Mosh fashion. I didn't know how to do it, so I threw it out the door. So I think it's got that unbreakable thing on it because it's tumbling down the stairs right now.
Is it really?
Yeah,
Okay.
I just chucked it.
Okay, that's good.
It wouldn't shut off. It was getting louder. It was like looking at me and stuff. It was telling me to swipe right. I don't know swipe right. What is this, Tinder? Why do I know Tinder? Okay.
Because you teach high school kids.
Exactly. Oh, my gosh. Hey, so with what Kev said, I wanted. I mean, he does a lot of brings up a lot of really good points.
Is that your cardio?
Oh my gosh, it upset me. And I never even got to finish my linebacker talk, but that's okay.
Oh, that's right. I forgot. Okay, well let's jump back then because I don't.
Okay,
I
let's
want
go back a second.
And I can edit this for the podcast.
This is what we love about live stuff.
This is live, exactly. Yeah. So we can do this part live, and then we'll just edit it back up for the podcast. But so we talked about the Raiders' lack of attention to that position. Tell us, you're going to get into the history of it a little bit.
So my point is we compiled a list here, and on this list we've got like 15 of the. Do we want to call them the best ever? Let's just say that the 15 most notable.
Well, it's from ranker.com or something like that,
okay.
Whatever it is. And it's in that website. It's not like necessarily even like sports people. It's just like you can go on there and vote people up and down. So these were the top 15 Raider linebackers according to that website.
Right.
So there are names on here. There's people like, freaking, Bruce Irvin that I wouldn't include on my list of top Raiders. But so that's where that came from. So that's where it's kind of just, like you said, it's like notable name recognition even, right?
Okay, so one of the things that you and I were going to do is we were going to say, oh, well, who would our top 5 linebackers of all time according to the ones that are on this list? I couldn't do 5. I couldn't
really,
and I'll tell you why.
Okay,
because I was going through and whenever I get to have to do things in 5s, I always go, okay, well, I'll just pick my 3 no ways, my 3 definites, and then I'll go from there, and then I'll add to it. So.
All right.
But I want to stop there because I've got my 3 definites, my 3 no ways, and then I've got my 3 that could probably make it into the top 5.
All right, so these are the best Raiders linebackers of all time, according to Uncle Mosh. All right, go
Ted
ahead.
Hendricks.
Number one or starting from the
Ted
bottom?
Hendricks, number one.
Slam dunk, Ted Hendricks, number one. I agree. He is my number one as well.
Yeah, and then my number 2 and 3 go back and forth.
Okay.
Go back and forth. It's Matt Millen and Phil Villapiano.
Interesting. Okay. I have Matt Millen as number 3.
Uh-huh.
Okay. And, oh, my gosh. He's been a guest on our show.
Yep.
I don't have Phil on the list.
Well,
I don't have Phil on my top 5 list.
And I'll tell you why.
Okay.
Because so I got my top 3, right? I got my Ted, Matt, and Phil. Because my 3 no ways doesn't necessarily have to do with play on the field, but it also has to do with play on the field and Raider mentality.
Okay.
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 My number 1 no way is Bill Romanowski. I can't call Romo a Raider.
I can't either.
Okay?
He was a Niner and a Bronco.
Right. And then after this year, I can't do Khalil or Bruce Irvin.
No, I agree.
So there's my 3 no ways.
Yeah,
so
I agree.
Out of my 3 no ways, and so then I'm looking at this and I'm going, now here's some guys. You got some guys, and my 3 guys, my Rod Martin, Greg Biekert, and Smith are my 3.
Oh, you went Travian Smith.
I went Travian
like that.
Smith.
That's good.
My 3 that could make it into the top 5.
Okay.
So that's where and that's not sliding some of these other guys that, Dan Connors, who played from 67 to 74, and Thomas Howard and Kirk Morrison. I'm not sliding any of these guys, but I'm just saying people that exemplified what we're bringing. That's what got him there, and that's why, of course, that's why Ted, Matt, and Phil, like I'm bros with them, right? That's
Teddy,
why,
Matty, and Philly.
Yeah. That's why Hendricks, Millen, and Villapiano were my top 3.
That's good, Uncle Mosh. I like it. I love that you put Travian Smith on there because he was a very key player. He was a stud, man. A key player for us back in the early 2000s for sure. All right, so I went. So we are the same on Ted as number 1. Right up here over my left shoulder.
Sure.
You can't see it, but I got my Ted Hendricks autograph there. The Mad Stork, right? No matching his impact to not only on field, but this is the guy that rode in on a horse.
This
literally,
is the Raider mystique,
right?
Bro.
Literally rode in on a horse to training camp.
Yeah.
My number 2 is Rod Martin. Rod Martin almost single-handedly won the Super Bowl for the Raiders in '81. I mean, that guy was just, absolute dominant player. So I went, and really the entirety of the '80s. So I went Rod Martin as my number 2. Matt Millen, we agree, is my number 3. I put my number 4 is Greg Biekert. I don't think that you get the production of a Travian Smith even, or just look, this was the guy that was, other than, I know it was Woodson that caused the fumble in the tuck rule, but it was Biekert that got the recovery. I mean, it was, Biekert, I just think was one of those guys that made others around him that much better. And then one of my all-time favorites, Uncle Mosh, was Kirk Morrison. He's my number 5.
Yeah?
I love Kirk Morrison, man. Kirk Morrison played for the Raiders.
Short career from 5 to 9.
And played in a dark time. Man.
Yeah,
that was some rough years for the Raiders. And he was one of the guys that was not only a leader on the team, but he was dependable. He was a stalwart. And I really, really liked watching Kirk Morrison play. And I think that he was one of the few really bright spots on some really rough teams to watch back then. And then my honorable mention goes to Jerry Robinson. Jerry Robinson played for the Raiders in the late 80s and was really big in, the impact, of the Raider teams in L.A. Like, he kind of epitomized a lot of the L.A. Raiders. Violator, who wears number 57 because of Jerry Robinson.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, Jerry's just one of those guys that, and he reps Raider Nation so well. You see him on so many of the different tailgates and appearances and signings and all that. Jerry Robinson definitely carries the torch of Raider Nation, and so I'd like to definitely give him a shout out on that. But anyways, good stuff there. So a lot of history, man. A lot of great players from all the way, Mosh, from, like you mentioned, Connors, from the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, early 2000s. Who's the greatest Raiders linebackers here of this last decade?
Oh, jeez.
Exactly. Yeah. So
yeah,
let's get to work. I mean, seriously, think of it in those terms. Yeah, let's get to work, Raider Nation. Let's go, Reggie. All right, Uncle Mosh, you got that email here. Now we're going to have to really hit the accelerator here. Right?
Oh, man. I apologize. And
that's okay. That's okay. It's my fault, too. I'm the one that messed up our timing there.
So, anyway, cut to the chase here. Kev says he loved the stuff between Carr and Gruden on the sidelines. And he says, it's good to see. I like the fact that they're both fired up enough to have to go at each other and fight for what they believe is right. Look what happened. DC stopped being a bonehead, came back out late in the game, delivered when we needed it the most. I like seeing Gruden look like the real Chucky. He looked pissed off at some of the stuff that was going on, and he should be. About time he started getting mad and passionate about it. I love it. Also, a few weeks ago, and then he goes on and on and on, talks about, when Gruden slapped Gunther with the playbook. You know, I mean, and it's stuff that we all love too. We wanted to see that, and that's that passion and that drive and that. But it took a while for them. I think I would say to get to the familiarity with each other.
Yeah.
You and I have screamed and yelled and root and gouged at each other, but that doesn't mean I love you any less. It just means you're a knucklehead and you needed to be screamed and yelled at.
Yeah.
So, and that's what I like to see with these guys.
Yeah. Like I made when you and I were talking before the show, it's like, when June Jones and Jeff George were fighting each other on the sideline, they were talking about each other's mamas. That's not what Gruden and Carr are doing.
Exactly.
They're having a healthy debate about a strategy on how to win a football game.
Right.
This hasn't devolved into some petty argument.
No. It's like, dude,
I mean?
did you not see the cover 2 on the whatever?
Exactly.
It's like, why didn't you check down this way?
Yeah.
I mean, that's
Yeah.
So anyway, and then he finishes up his email and he says. He talks about Mark Davis standing in his coach's corner, defending the QB, defending the GM, taking the responsibility, and I love that. He ends with this great sentence. He says, "Screw the number 1 pick and all that talk. Just win, baby." Anyway, Kev goes on to thank you and I for doing what we do, and we don't need thanks. We appreciate you guys just listening. And then he finishes it with the longest word I've ever seen. It's Scotland with 9 A's, 6 N's, and 2 D's, and I think it's pronounced much love from Scotland.
There we go. Good job. Thank you, Kev. Appreciate the email, my friend. And so, Kev, you are now a made man via email.
Sweet.
Here on Raiders Fan Radio. And Uncle Mosh, we have another new made man this week. And that's going to come we're going to go from Scotland to Kentucky. And we're going to hear from our buddy, Jesse.
Hey, Murf, Uncle Mosh. This is Jesse in Kentucky. I'm watching episode 103. Congratulations again. And I love the Randy Hansen stuff. That was awesome. Great job on that. I'm calling in because, I'm not trying to be a thorn in anybody's side. I'm not trying to give anybody any pushback. I'm just offering a different analysis. So, example, like John Gruden's contract, right? I don't buy into that. It's not the fact that I don't believe in it or I don't believe the fact he's going to be there. None of that. My argument was this. John Gruden, he is going to have to sacrifice so much, and is right now. That's why the number is high. And the reason I call you guys a show is because of the report. You guys actually engage with the people calling in, and that is why I call in, because, I'm analyzing something. So I'm trying to create, like a different narrative, get you guys to respond to it, to maybe change the narrative of the mainstream, man, because, if you watch that crap, it's all doom and gloom, buddy.
Come on.
I mean, it's terrible. That's just me. As far as, agreeing with the decisions of the organization, that's having passion, you know what I mean? Like, we can agree with the great things, we can disagree with the good things, or whatever the case it is. We're not always going to fall in line with the direction of the organization. Case in point, I hate the fact they're moving to Vegas. Like, I grew up on the outskirts of Sacramento. I live in Kentucky now, but I've lived in, Kentucky since 2001. I grew up on the outskirts of Sacramento, my whole life. I never seen the Raiders win a Super Bowl because I was 4 when they actually won it, in '83. This is all I know. And unfortunately, people, we was once the most winningest franchise in NFL history. I want us to get back to that glory. And I thank you guys for everything you guys do. And like I said, you guys are the only podcast or whatever this thing is called, because I'm not connected online or any of that stuff. But you guys are the only forum that I have found that really engages with their fans. And for that, thank you. You know what I mean? Because you guys give the voice to the voiceless. And through that, it's a chance for us as people to come together, as fans and analyze what is actually taking place and not buying for the mainstream, populist notions of, well, $10 million can't guarantee you a win or whatever, because that's horse manure. And I think we all agree with that. John Gruden is busting his butt as best he knows how. I just don't have to agree with every decision that's made. I don't agree with a play call sometimes. But, in retrospect, neither does he. It just is what it is. But I love you guys.
And it got him. And Google Voice got him. Great job, Jesse. And, Jesse called back later in the week, Uncle Mosh. I'm going to play one more from Jesse and then get your feedback on it.
Hello, Murf, Uncle Mosh. This is Jesse again from Kentucky. Thinking about changing my Raider name. I never really had one. I just said Jesse Raider, right? So I was thinking Refrigerator Raider. What do you guys think about that? I kind of like that. Anyway, I left a message earlier in regards to responding back to the Gruden contract, but I just want to know from you guys. I know a lot of people make fun of Donald Penn, kind of thing. He's old, blah, 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 right? Okay. I think the Raiders are missing his leadership. I'm not talking about his on-field play, right? If you go back and you watch that Browns game, when Derek Carr threw that strike in the end zone, one of the first people out there on the field to congratulate Derek Carr and that team was Donald Penn. I mean, he picked Derek Carr up as he ran off there. And it just seems to me like maybe we're missing that leadership. Nothing against Rodney Hudson. I think that he's just awesome, right? KO's a beast. We get it. But there's something with that rapport that they had.
All right, Mosh, I'm going to go ahead and stop it there because we got a lot to get to today. But essentially, Jesse is asking the question about, are we suffering from the lack of leadership that Donald Penn or his presence or whatever? I think that there's a lot to get to there in the offensive line. And Mikey and I had a pretty lengthy discussion about the line. We went from 2 years ago having one of the best in the NFL to, the offensive line struggling this year. And so I agree with Jesse that, Penn is an interesting character. He's a great rah-rah guy. He's a great, booster of his teammates. Like, he's all about team. But then he's the guy that will then hold out, and he's the guy that wants to fight the fans in the parking lot. He's an interesting dichotomy. You got these two different things kind of going on with Donald Penn. But I definitely agree with him 100% that on the field, I think that his leadership and his, that is definitely missed. His presence on the field is definitely missed. What do you think?
I think you're not going to get any argument from a lot of people about that. We said the same thing about that guy that went to Chicago. That his leadership in the locker room was going to be greatly missed. Okay, so who's the next guy that steps up?
That's the key.
Bledsoe goes down. Brady comes in.
Right.
Come on.
Yeah. Wally Pip to Lou Gehrig, man. Someone else has got to.
The next guy's going to come in, man.
I'm with you. And, Mikey, I brought up the point. I said, well, Mikey, our offensive line has dealt with so many injuries, including Donald Penn, right? And he says, well, I don't want to use injuries as an excuse. And while that I think is a fair take as well, I am willing to use it as not necessarily as an excuse, but as far as an understanding of why we've fallen off. Look, Kelechi Osemele does not whiff like he's been whiffing under normal circumstances.
Nope.
That guy just does not. He's not the turnstile kind of guard, and he's given up some plays that I know he wants back, and it's because of the fact that he's playing hurt. So is Colton Miller.
Sure.
And that puts extra pressure on the rest of the guys. And and at the end of the day, Dennis Allen, look what Rodney Hudson's doing despite all of that. Do you have any stats there on Hudson?
Oh, are you kidding? I love this guy. He hasn't allowed a single pressure on 163 dropbacks. Are you kidding me? Are you freaking kidding me? He's the only offensive lineman with 100-plus pass block snaps of 2.6-plus seconds to allow, ready, 0 pressures this season.
Unbelievable.
The guy is a stud. If they could bottle this guy, I'm telling you, man, the guy's Hall of Fame material, and I'm calling it. And you don't call that a lot on a center.
Yeah. Yeah.
This guy is something special.
He really is.
We are looking at all these big names and all these big contracts. This is the guy we need to be looking at.
Yeah. This is the guy you break the bank for.
This is our unsung hero right here, brother.
Agree.
This is
totally
him,
agree.
man.
Totally agree.
And
Absolutely.
then there was one other guy who I just absolutely adore, who I think is just a little bit of a man crush, Mo Hurst, man.
Oh,
come
on.
Come on.
Absolutely.
Do you know that he only needs one more sack? One more sack, and we're only halfway through the season to beat Mac's rookie sack numbers. and he's a defensive tackle.
Yeah, that's money.
Plus, he, I mean, come on.
That's money. And he's got the best celebration dance rubbing his belly.
Oh,
too.
yeah, that's how he won my heart. Get in my belly.
There you go. Yeah, man, he's awesome. I agree, man. I'm encouraged by, both of our lines. And again, I know this whole season hasn't turned out the way that we would want it to, but I think we're still even going to see better things out of Brandon Parker. I think that he's going to come around. I think we're going to have our bookended tackles, man.
We're never going to have the perfect season.
No.
We're not.
No.
We're not. We can win the Super Bowl, and we're still going to have things that happen during the season that throw us into, oh, man, what are we going to do next year? What are we going to do now? You're never going to have – it's the reason you and I don't golf. You know what I'm saying? We don't golf.
We don't golf.
When you and I go golfing, we bring as many balls as we can because we're going to hit the stuffing out of it. We're going to hit balls. Hey, Josh, look, there's a road over there. Okay, I'll give you $5 if you can hit that car. We go out there to hit the ball as many times as we can because we're going to have fun, right? Because every golfer that you and I know that's serious about it has a piss-poor attitude.
They're all miserable.
They hate the game. Hey, how'd you shoot? Oh, I shot a 19 on the front nine. Ah, damn it, I should have had an 18. Come on.
Yeah.
They're never happy. They're never, ever happy with their game. Well, you know what? I'm happy with football. I'm happy being a Raiders fan. I think it sucks that we're 2-8, but you know what? I could be a golfer.
And if you were, you could wear this fine Bridgestone golf hat put out by 47 Brands. Thanks for that segue, Uncle Mosh. And we'll be giving this away for Christmas as you send us your emails and tell us what your favorite, what was it? What was the
holiday Raider story.
Tell us your favorite holiday Raider story, and we'll send you that Bridgestone golf hat. All right, Uncle Mosh. So, Kev in Scotland and Jesse in Kentucky, congratulations. You are now both made men here on Raiders Fan Radio.
You are a made man. You showed you are part of the family by participation. By chance, a man like yourself should make enemies, then they would become my enemies. Showing you are a friend of Raiders Fan Radio, you have leapt across the line. Friendship is everything. Friendship is more than talent. It is more than the government. It's almost equal to family. Be loyal. Made man, Raider fan. Someday, and that day may never come, I'll call upon you to do a service for me. But until that day, accept this as a gift. And don't ever forget, words can hurt more, but silence can break hearts.
All right, congratulations. If you want to become a made man here on Raiders Fan Radio, all you got to do is call us and leave us a voicemail. And if we play your message 3 times, then you get that designation. And, Uncle Mosh, there's been some talk. About elevating a few people up from, some folks that might be friends of ours. You know what I'm saying? We might elevate from, you got the made man, and then what's that? What's the next level?
Like a capo.
Like a capo. So the capo you can't earn. You got to be. You got to be designated, right?
It's all about. It's about pedigree. It's about bloodline. It's about what you've done for me lately.
There you go. All right. So we might have some capos to designate coming up in a very, very near future. So
it's a New Year thing.
The maid of the made men. And, there's a pretty short list. I got like 3 names off the top of my head. And this first guy might be one of them.
Okay.
Greetings, Aaron Q-Dog Raider calling from the east side. As I look out my window at these dreary skies in my office here in West Virginia, I sit here and I ponder what it is that I need to be thankful for this Raider Thanksgiving. And outside of friends and family, I would dare to say expiring contracts. Look, there's some guys that don't need to be Raiders anymore, never wear the silver and black, and their contracts are about to go the way of the dodo bird. We're talking Reggie Nelson, Rashawn Melvin, Doug Martin, Leon Hall, just to name a very few. Out of here, see ya. And with the trade of he who shall not be named or the heartless wonder from Alabama, we're going to say that we're going to be nestling up to $80 million in free agent money to spend on C.J. Mosley, middle linebacker, Le'Veon Bell, possibly running back, DeMarcus Lawrence, defensive end, Jadeveon Clowney, outside linebacker, HaHa Clinton Dix, free safety, Zadarius Smith, outside linebacker, Tyron Honey Badger Matthew, free safety, Tyler Eifert, tight end, Manti Don't Be Facebooking a girlfriend, Teo, middle linebacker, Jalen Ramsey, Kenny Vaccaro, strong safety, Randall Cobb, wide receiver, Muhammad Wilkerson, defensive end, Sammy Coates, wide receiver, Landon Collins, free safety, Malcolm Brown, defensive tackle, Trey Flowers, defensive end. Do I need to go out of breath in order to let you know that we have needs across the board and we need to spend accordingly? So I heard there was a debate about Philip Richards. I can't even say his name, but that guy who throws ball down there in Los Angeles and wears lightning bolts on the top of his helmet, as possibly being a Hall of Famer. Look, my vote is no. Look, I put him in the same category as LaDainian Tomlinson, two guys that have feasted on down Raider teams in a weak AFC West defensive lineup and did nothing in the playoffs. The hell with them. I was listening to a post-game interview with our beloved coach, and Chucky dropped a goddamn. Good times. Look, for those of us that have stepped up and repeatedly called with quality, how about ascending us to the rank of capo? Ponder it. Happy Thanksgiving off. Fruit.
It makes me cry.
He's the best. Look, and we have a lot of guys that are great. So this is not to disparage anyone else's calls.
No, they're all great.
But he's phenomenal. Like he's so funny, so witty, so quick on all that stuff. And you know what, Q-Dog, I think we're going to do it. Uncle Mosh and I hadn't really talked
We're
going
to
work
work out the details.
We're going to work out the details for sure, but we're definitely going to have a nominated set of capos. And you, my friend, are certainly on the short list. And I think the others, they know who they are. And but that's a great idea and just a great call. So, look, he details it there, Mosh. There is a ton of free agent talent. Some people are saying that this draft might be down a little bit in terms of overall talent. But look, when you couple that with the amount of free agents that are going to be available and all the money that the Raiders are going to have, like $80 freaking million.
Yep.
Holy cow! Like we're gonna do some work this offseason, I think. Don't you?
I do. I agree. We've got a lot of money to spend, and I don't buy that whole. Oh, the talent pool's not there. The talent pool is there. The talent pool is out there, and we just got to be good shoppers, man.
There you go. Hey, good call there, Mosh. I like it. All right, let's go from Q Dog to B Dog. All right, I'm gonna pick on B Dog for a second.
Do it.
Okay. And the only reason I pick on him is that he is a new caller to our show. This is the second time he's called the show, and he's been a great new listener and great supporter of ours at Raiders Fan Radio. And sometimes when you speak publicly, you can misspeak. We misspeak all the time. When I go back and listen to our shows sometimes,
I know.
I'm like, oh my gosh, Murph, what were you doing? What were you saying? What were you thinking? You said the wrong name and you said this wrong. And I do it all the time.
Murph, I said that when you and I go golfing, we bring the balls.
Hey, who's bringing balls over here? But so it happens, right? It happens. You misspeak when you speak a lot, so it got B Dog. So B Dog called us and he left this message, and Uncle Mosh, it cracked me up.
Hey Mosh, Uncle Murph. Oh man.
And then he hung up.
He hung up.
Yeah, we play that one more time.
Hey Mosh, Uncle Murph. Oh man.
You don't have to hang up over that.
Well, but to his credit, he called back. So great job calling back, and proud to play your call here, B Dog. This is B Dog from a pasture in Texas.
Hey Murph, Uncle Mosh. This is B Dog calling from a pasture in Texas. I just wanted to share a little story of mine with y'all, if y'all be willing to listen to it. 2014, man. I was in junior high, just getting into football. Then I can recall a Thursday night game between the Chiefs and the Raiders. The Raiders hadn't won anything up until this point, man. They finally got that first victory of the season. I can just recall watching it on ESPN. I didn't have the Raiders. I didn't have NFL Network. I didn't have any of that. I just recall seeing them win and how excited the fans were, like, after that on the highlights I watched. And something in my head clicked. I was just, man, something about this game just makes me want to root for them, man. I want to be a Raiders fan for life. And since that day forward, I became a Raiders fan. Fast forward to Christmas that year, my dad got me a present. Opened the present. It was a Raiders baseball cap, football cap, whatever you want to call it. And I was just, this is the best gift I've ever received, man. I could have never asked anything better than this. Ever since that day, going forward, I've been a Raiders fan. I've been through the ups, been through the downs. 2016, great season, man. It's in the past. I can recall that season, though. I was being called out for being a bandwagon fan, and that really hurt me because I've been a fan of the team when we were losing. It's all right. I don't think anyone's going to call me a bandwagon fan anymore. So we got a much-needed victory yesterday. It was a great victory. I mean, we may have as many losses as that quarterback for the Chargers has kids, but hey, we got a victory. And that's all that matters. Go Raider Nation.
Great job, B-Dog.
Man.
Great job.
Good job,
Yeah, he
B-Dog.
did good, man.
Good recovery.
Yeah.
Good recovery. I loved it,
Yeah.
and I love his passion. That's what we're all. And you know what? He sounds really young. So this.
Well, he said junior high school 2014. He could be one of your students.
Yeah, man. This is a whole new generation coming
Yes.
up. Go, man. Support from that pasture out in Texas.
Heck yeah, man. I thought that was awesome. Great call. And call us again, man, one more time, buddy. And you become a made man here on Raiders Fan Radio. Love to hear the Raiders fan origin stories, Uncle Mosh. We will always have time for that if you want to call us and leave us your origin story. All right, next up, we're going to hear from our buddy Alberto in L.A.
Hey, it's Alberto from L.A. And wow, we won. I'm not going to lie, after we won, I was like, wait a minute. What is this? We won a game? And then when I went, because, I didn't see the game fully. I only saw the first half. And then the second half, one of my Charger friends was telling me, yeah, the Raiders won and the Chargers lost. I'm like, wait a minute, the what? The Raiders won? Because I stopped watching at the I think it was I know I watched the first half, and at the third quarter I stopped watching. I had to do something, and it was like they were losing like 21-20. I was like, oh my God, we're gonna throw it away. So Nick Bosa, here we go, baby. But no, they pulled it out. I'm so glad. Fuck the Chargers too.
Whoa!
Anyway,
Whoops!
Also,
I missed that one.
Pittsburgh, black and gold.
Whoops!
Except we're black all day.
All right, I'm going to skip forward to this voicemail. Apparently, I forgot to edit that one.
Better than the last 2 weeks. But anyway, good win. I'm glad they won, and just got to ride it out. And hopefully they beat Pittsburgh, and cool with 3-13, or just as long as they beat Pittsburgh, okay? I'm cool with that.
Oh, my gosh. Well,
oops.
Sorry about that. I'll have it edited up for the podcast, so the kids in the car don't catch that one.
I was over here reading my notes, and I didn't have my finger on the buzzer.
Oh my gosh! Sorry about that. Yeah, sorry about that. All right, next up, let's hear from Running Bear in Tulare, California.
Hi, Uncle Mosh and Murph and the rest of Silver and Black. Happy Thanksgiving to all. I like to say we're all family, all of us that believes Silver and Black, no matter what or who is coaching, playing, cheering, where they are playing, or what the team name is. We are all family. All of those that leave us are still our family. This is bigger than just the team. We are the nation. I'm so happy we got a victory last week. I hope we get another couple this year. And just remember, we're all in this together. And everybody, I hope has a great Thanksgiving. And take care, everybody. Go Raiders!
All right, great stuff there from Running Bear. Absolutely, one big family, Mosh. That's what we talked about early on in the show. And, hey, we're praying for you, brother. We're with you. I know that that Running Bear's had some health issues. This is the gentleman that was recovering from a stroke and found our show and started listening to us during his recovery. So the fact that he made it pulled through after us, listening to us all the time, that's a testament.
He sounds great, man.
A testament to his fortitude.
He sounds like he's doing so much better. So we're really happy for you, Running Bear.
Absolutely. So
keep calling, man. Keep us up. Keep us in the loop.
Absolutely,
for sure.
Yeah. So he said he wasn't feeling well this week, so we just want to let you know we're thinking of you, man. Hope you have a happy Thanksgiving. All right, next up, let's hear from our buddy Houston Raider Steve.
Hey, Murph and Mosh, this is Steve, Houston Raider Steve. Just want to have a moment of silence for the
people lost their lives, their loved ones, their property, and everything out there in California, Northern and Southern California. I became a Raiders fan 50 years ago today, 11/17/1968, the Heidi game. I was a kid living in Chicago, 8 years old.
How about that?
Watched the whole game. Became a fan that day. Remember all the great games, all the great Raider games. A lot of great friendships. The Raider Nation family, you guys, like you, Raider Nation podcast. It's just a family, you know. It's 50 years. I'm gonna be a Raider fan till I die. Never walked the plank. Never jumped ship. Was wearing my Raider hat today. And here our team is only won one game, but that's just the way it is. We represent every day, win, lose, or tie. I love you all, my brothers and sisters in Christ. And just remember that even though the team's struggling, I'll always be a Raider fan. No matter where they play, I'm always going to be a fan. It's something that's ingrained in me. The Raiders going to be back. We don't know when, but they'll be back. Good health and happy Thanksgiving to everybody. God bless.
All right, great call there from Houston Raiders, Steve. Uncle Mosh, I got two things for you on that one. First off, the Raiders, today I saw had a video out. A lot of the players got together, Mark Davis, cheerleaders, a lot of the organization got together and boxed up clothes and food and all kinds of stuff to take out to all the people that have been impacted by the wildfires.
Yeah.
And so, you know, it's always good to see organizations band together. And even outside Raider Nation, we saw Aaron Rodgers make like $1 million donation. Of course, he's from Chico, California, went to Butte Community College.
Did you catch what his brother, the little tiff going on between he and his
Him
brother?
and Jordan?
Yeah.
Well, that's been going on for a long time, though, right?
Yeah, but through the Twitter today?
No, I didn't read
Yeah,
it. Is it ugly?
It's kind of I don't know.
If it's icky, don't bring it up.
It was just retarded. Sorry, I didn't mean to say that. It was really bad in the way that it was done. He tweeted, Aaron tweeted about how that he's thankful that his got a hold of his folks or whatever, and then the brother said, well, that's fine that you're sending this out now, but maybe you should have thought about that earlier. There was a little bit. It was really stupid.
Okay.
It's like, come on, guys. There's people that have lost everything, and in the scope of things, much bigger fish to fry than this little snippet that you guys got going.
Yeah, not the time for
not
that.
the time.
Not the time. Not the time.
Put that.
Yeah.
That
Guy just
away.
gave $1 million to freaking
right?
support the people that have been,
Well,
hurt
I
by
just,
this.
I think it's cool that the people in the Bay Area are stepping up, man.
Absolutely,
It's
yeah.
just,
So it's great that the Raiders did that, absolutely, and so of course, we are definitely thinking of a lot of those folks, and scary stuff. All right, so there was something else about his call, and I don't remember what else it was that I wanted to ask Steve about. Crap. What was it, Mosh? There was something else about Steve's call that I absolutely wanted to ask you about.
Well, just that he said that about sending heartfelt condolences and
Yeah, there was something after that though. Well, something even after that.
We'll get to it later,
We'll get to it later then. All right, let's hear next up. Let's go to our buddy Mojo Raider down in San Diego.
What is up, fellas? It's Mojo from San Diego with the boys here. Love to see this big W right here. It might have been a little bit ugly, but a win is a win. It feels great. Man, we can't even lose right. Now there's a bunch of teams that are sitting at 2-8. Anyway, I want to give a shout out to a couple dudes. Conley, one of my faves. I just like the kid. Mo Hurst, biggest steal in the 2018 draft by far. That kid's on fire. Arden Key played great today. I was happy with Carr's intensity. I mean, hell, him and John Gruden almost got in a fight on the sideline at one point. Hey, man, that's what we've been needing. These guys got to play with that passion. It doesn't matter how, we're down 2-8 right now. We'll probably finish the season 2-14, but they need to go out there and compete and not quit the way they did today. Anyway, enjoy this W. Keep doing what you do. Me and the kids love listening to you guys. One Nation, just win, baby.
All right, great stuff from Mojo Raider there. Yeah, we're with them on the fire between Gruden and Carr, and something else that Mojo got involved with our show this last week is that we had a story we covered heavily and commented heavily on the story last week about Mark Davis and the interview that he gave with ESPN. And on the show, we discussed about how what he did was display effective leadership. As a leader of the organization, he showed that he was not only capable, but he did the right things for the people that work for him. And so when I posted up our show this last week, Mosh, I asked the question, just very simply, do you think Mark Davis is a good leader? And, I didn't tally it up, but just inexactly and reading through a lot of the comments, and there were many, I'd say it was probably split about right down the middle between people that thought he was and people that thought he wasn't. On one of those posts, Mojo Raider jumped in and gave his opinion on it, and that pretty much sealed it for me as far as what my take was on it. Not only do I agree with him, but I trust immensely the position that he's coming from. And you want to share that with us, Mosh,
Sure.
what he had to say?
Sure. He said, Mojo, this is his exact words. He said, I am a leader in the world's greatest Navy, and I have been in a leadership position for almost 2 decades. What Mr. Davis did was a perfect example of leadership. He owned his people and organization's failures and gave its successes to his subordinates. I'm proud he's our owner. Ooh, good words, Mojo.
If there was a mic drop, that would be it, right?
Yeah.
Like that. I mean, I don't know how you dispute that. Look, and again, you can be unhappy with 2-8. You can be unhappy with a lot of things you can be unhappy about the move. You can be happy with a lot of things. But when you look at leadership and what Mark Davis did, I mean, he showed it. He showed it well. And again, I mean, look, I trust an opinion of somebody that's a freaking, been in a leadership position in the Navy for 2 decades.
Yeah,
I
man.
trust his opinion more than my own, let alone, frankly, a lot of people on Facebook, right? So, I mean, you know what I'm saying? So I'm pretty good at where we're at on that subject. So great call. As always, Joe, thank you for the phone call. And Uncle Mosh, this thing with Houston Raider Steve is bugging me so bad. I want to go back and listen to the last part of his voicemail. Can I do that?
Do it. Come on.
Okay.
Hey, Murph.
Let's skip forward here.
I'm struggling to always be a Raider fan. No matter where they play, I'm always going to be a fan. It's something.
That's what it was. All right, I got it. Thank you. That's all I needed to hear.
Got it.
All right, so on the show this last week on Mondays with Mikey and Murph, we discussed the lawsuit that the city of Oakland has now against the Raiders. Basically, they're suing for a multitude of things, but it's the gist of it comes down to this: is that the Raiders are leaving and they didn't, give Oakland enough opportunity to react, whether that be to fill it with another tenant, fill the Coliseum with another tenant, or whatever. There's a whole list of things of what they're suing for. One of the portions of that lawsuit is the retention of the rights to the Raiders' name and logo and whatever, intellectual property of the Raiders, okay? Much like when the Browns left Cleveland, they left the Browns behind and became the Baltimore Ravens. I want to ask this question on this show as well because to me it's a fascinating subject. And listen, first and foremost, I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think that the city of Oakland is going to be able to retain these rights. But that said, I want to know what you say, chat room. I want to know what your opinion is on this, and I want your opinion too, Mosh. And here's what I give you my kind of statement on it. I'm a Raiders fan. This whole thing around us and everything else, and I mentioned on Mondays with Mikey and Murph that aside from Christ follower and, family man, right? So husband, father, nephew, whatever. After those titles, it's Raiders fan for me. And I love what I do for a living, and I'm very thankful for it, but I don't identify as much with what I do for a living as much as I identify with being a Raider fan and doing this kind of stuff. So it's a big thing for me, okay? So just understand that's where I'm coming from as a fan. The move is I can deal with. Going to Vegas I can deal with. But if this team moves and they leave the Raiders behind and there's no connectivity anymore for me to the team that not only is from where I'm from, but now you're taking away the Raiders as well and they become the Las Vegas Gamblers or whatever. Uncle Mosh, I don't think I'm a Raider fan. I don't think I'm a fan of this team anymore. I'm still a Raiders fan, and I'll still sit here and do Raiders fan radio for an hour and 53 minutes at a time every week. But I won't be talking about that other team anymore. I don't think my fandom, that's the one thing, Uncle Mosh, that will test my fandom. I don't think my fandom travels if they change the name of the team and essentially take the legacy of Al Davis that we've celebrated tonight and they keep it in Oakland. What do you think?
I think that this would be a great time for us to have former Cleveland fans on the air with us. You know, what did they do? Did they become Baltimore Ravens fans? You know, did they put that on?
I don't think so.
Did they? I don't think so either. I don't think they. I'm not saying that they gave up football, but did they? I look at it like this. There's, and I think I've said this on this show before. Maybe just you and I talking, but there's 3 or 4 or 5 evil empires out there. You know, Disney's one of them. Sony's one of them. The NFL is one of them. You know. If Oakland thinks they got big pockets and they want to take on the NFL, because, you know, Mark Davis owns the team, but does he own the rights to the Oakland Raiders? Who licensed this stuff? It always says, you know, licensed under the NFL, blah, blah, blah.
The intellectual property of the Raiders, I believe it was built by Al, and so he created it. Now, I don't know what the legalities are, the retention part of it is. I don't know.
And nor do I, but I'm telling you that I promise you that if Oakland thinks their pockets are deep, I promise you, look at our commissioner. He makes $1 million a week. You know, the guy, I mean, we got deep pockets, guys, and we've got so many attorneys on there. And what are they going to do? Spend millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars to hold the rights to something that would take the NFL, who they would have to sue to get those rights, to grant them another franchise?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
You know, to do what? What's the end result? What are you going to win? Yeah, that's a good thing to threaten them with. But if I'm Oakland, I'm threatening you, and I'm saying, okay, you NFL, if we're gonna keep the rights to that. You go move. You go be the Las Vegas Gamblers. Okay, so NFL says, okay, see you, bye. Now, what are you gonna do now that you have the rights? Because we're not going to give you a team.
Oh yeah, that's the thing.
I promise
you.
If the next expansion came, Oakland would
Oakland's not getting it.
Oakland is not getting it. So what is the end result? That's so.
Yeah.
It's a moot point.
It is. And that's why I say I don't think it's going to happen. But I think I thought it provided at least an interesting thing to think about, because again, I wouldn't stop being a football fan. You know, and again, I could still do this show, but we wouldn't be celebrating that other team anymore.
Nah. But
right?
see, and that's why, you know, that's not even something I even consider, you know, because it's just so ridiculous and so
far-fetched.
You know, it's everybody freaked out when whatchamacallit sold off to, is it Sony that owns the Star Wars now? You know, whoever.
No, it's Disney.
Disney.
Yeah.
You know, the other evil empire.
Yeah.
Disney owns Star Wars. Oh, that's it.
And then now they own Sony too.
Yeah, so that's the end of it. Okay, that's the end. Well, no, those movies are still good movies. Shut up. You know, what does that mean? You know, come on.
All right. Good deal. Still let us know. I'm curious, chat room, what your guys' feelings are on it. Heck, leave us a voicemail on it. Call us at the voicemail number. Leave us your messages next week and let us know what you think about the Raiders and that the concept of them not being the Raiders anymore. Again, I'm with Mosh. It's probably not anything worth putting too much brain power behind, but it makes for an interesting discussion.
We are Metallica, and we are here for your Oakland Raiders!
You know why we out here, and we ain't playing around today.
From The Walking Dead to errant Jedi Knights, Raiders fans are a rogues gallery.
All right, Raider Nation, we are closing in on the end of another episode of Raiders Fan Radio. Appreciate everybody joining us.
Wait a minute. You didn't let me give my
your Sizzler.
My
Sizzler.
Sizzler. I'm all messed up tonight, Mosh. We had that long intro. We had F-bombs dropped. I'm all out of sorts.
I know. So the Sizzler goes to Q-Dog.
Again.
Q-Dog.
2 out of 3 now.
2 out of 3. He's shooting for the Q-Dog wants the Capo title, you know. So he's gonna he come in here and he Q-Dog brought in 26 names. He brought in 26 names. He brought in 14 financial security kind of things. And then he even threw in on the chat a new show, Conspiracies with Mikey and Mosh.
Oh, my gosh.
You're
a debunker, man. You guys will go at it.
Yeah. So, hey, Q-Dog, great job, man. And, and again, there was so many of them that were good. Mojo Raider, man.
Mojo was solid.
Great call. Followed it up with that fantastic email and all the heartfelt folks that wanted to give a shout out to our friends and family, people that we all know. We all know somebody that's impacted by the wildfires. We all know. I mean, you went to college in Chico, for crying out loud. So, well, I'm sorry, you were enrolled in college. I'm not even sure if that's true. You had some roommates who went to school in Chico.
I think I came away knowing how to do a keg stand and shotgun a 12-pack. I think that was and set a couch on fire.
All right, good job. Congratulations, Q-Job, for the Sizzler.
Yeah, good job, Q-Dog. Absolutely. Great job tonight, everybody, and thank you for joining us. So I can't scroll up the chat, but I'll start reading down here. Bobby Wasabi, Aaron the Q-Dog Raider, Ron, Raider Critique, Raider Homer, Phantom King, Bobby Wasabi, did I say that yet? Great job and great discussion in the chat room tonight. You guys are a blast, man. And this YouTube thing has ended up being pretty fun, man. It's been a curveball on the whole podcasting thing that Uncle Mosh and I didn't expect, and it's been a blast. So thank you to you guys for joining us. Thank you for supporting what we do. All right, real quick before we get out of here, Uncle Mosh, Rico Gafford. Do you know Rico Gafford?
Rico Gafford. I love his name.
Rico Gafford is a track star who also went on to play some wide receiver at the University of Montana.
Wow.
Is on the Raiders practice squad. This dude was clocked at running a 4.22 on his pro day, so an Al Davis dream, right?
Yeah.
He's been taking snaps at quarterback in practice to replicate Lamar Jackson and what the Baltimore Ravens are going to do this week on offense. Lamar Jackson ran the ball like 17 times for like 100 and some odd yards last week against the Bengals, and so the Raiders this week are going to get a full dose of Lamar Jackson, and they've been preparing for it by having Rico taking snaps in practice.
I love it.
What do you think's going to happen this week, Mosh? You think we got a shot at this thing or what?
You know what? Forever the optimist. I'm saying, I'm claiming victory. We're on a roll. This is the first week in a few weeks we haven't had the numbers. The numbers that you always give. Like if we win out, we have a 187% chance.
Yeah. No, there's no hope left.
There's no
this
hope.
Is not Star Wars. There is no new hope.
Well, I don't know, man. I'd love to see it. I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna be right there with you, screaming and yelling and hooting and hollering and rooting and gouging and eating that leftover turkey.
Absolutely. Making Sister Schubert sandwiches with the stuffing and the turkey and the cranberry sauce.
Hey, we will be right there with the refrigerator Raider.
That was solid.
That was very solid.
Refrigerator Raider is solid. Absolutely. Props for that one.
That was our boy Jesse in Kentucky.
Jesse in Kentucky,
us,
I like Refrigerator Raider. That was good stuff. All right, well, y'all have a happy Thanksgiving. Absolutely. If you're traveling, travel safe. Enjoy the time spent with your friends and family. And I appreciate you guys checking in with us. Enjoy the football games that are going to be played. And enjoy the Raiders on Sunday. You know what, Uncle Mosh? Even if we don't win, it may not be always the best time watching the Raiders lose, but it'll always be a great time at the tailgate too, right?
Absolutely.
So if you're going to the game, then have fun and be safe out there. And tell the Black Hole and the other booster clubs there that we said hi. And
give them our best. Yeah,
give them our best. Uncle Mosh, you got some parting words for us?
I do. So here on Raiders Fan Radio, we are the forum that gives the voice to the voiceless. And remember, what happens in Vegas started in Oakland.
Happy Thanksgiving, guys.